The Fellowship of the Ring is forged, and they set off on their quest to Mordor to destroy the One Ring. Due to an incident on the tops of the Misty Mountains, they are forced to divert their quest through them via the Mines of Moria. But first they have to find the entrance, and this third level begins with this. The Church of St. Edward, Stow-on-the-Wold, the Cotswolds, England. Tolkien apparently based the entrance to Moria on the entrance to this church, which features 2 actual trees either side of the archway. The town itself, which is another old Iron Age hill fort, was called the worst in the world by restaurant reviewer A.A. Gill. There is an old rhyme that doesn't help such a description. At Brill on the hill the wind blows shrill, the cook no meat can dress. At Stow-in-the-Wold the wind blows cold, I know no more than this. 1954, The Fellowship of the Ring, J.R.R. Tolkien, Book 2, Chapter 4, A Journey in the Dark. It looked to Frodo like the remains of an ancient road that had once been broad and well planned, from Hollin to the mountain pass. The moon, now at the full, rose over the mountains and cast a pale light in which the shadows of stones were black. Many of them looked to have been worked by hands, though now they lay tumbled and ruinous in a bleak, barren land. Rounding the corner, they saw before them a low cliff, some 5 fathoms high, with a broken and jagged top. Over it, a trickling water dripped through a wide cleft that seemed to have been carved out by a fall that had once been strong and full. "Indeed things have changed," said Gandalf, "but there is no mistaking the place. There is all that remains of the Stair Falls." 2001, The Fellowship of the Ring, Peter Jackson.
Frodo, come and help an old man. How's your shoulder?
Better than it was.
And the ring? You feel its power growing, don't you? I felt it too. You must be careful now. Evil will be drawn to you from outside the Fellowship, and fear from within.
Who then do I trust?
You must trust yourself. Trust your own strength.
What do you mean?
There are many powers in this world, for good or for evil. Some are greater than I am, and against some I have not yet been tested. The walls of Moria.
2002, The Two Towers, Electronic Arts. Here, choosing to play as either Aragorn, Legolas or Gimli, we and one other scout ahead, leaving the rest of the Fellowship behind. For the first time we get to make the journey Tolkien speaks of, seeing the Stair Falls shown in the film, but now given the opportunity to walk around it and have a bit of an explore. Here we have a journey from the worst place in the world to the Black Chasm, which is what Moria means in the fictional Sindarin language. Here in the game we get a sense of this, walking on the sides of these bleak monochromic cliffs. In the extended version of the film, we see a bit of this walk, quickly coming up by the side of a lake at dusk. But it is in the game that we really get to explore the mountain pass Tolkien describes. Although we walk as a scouting party and not as the Fellowship as dictated in both the book and film, it means that the game does not feel too cramped, with 7 other individuals vying for space on the cliff edges. I really like this level. It illustrates the benefits of games adapted from books or films. Unlike the previous 2 levels, where we were just elongating or reenacting moments from the film, here we get to explore the moments that were not filmed, between scenes, to feel the weighty significance of this journey to the mines of Moria and all its grim foreboding. Having made it to the mines, the Fellowship discover the chamber of Mazabul and the tomb of Balin, Gimli the dwarf's cousin. 1954, The Fellowship of the Ring, J.R.R. Tolkien, Book 2, Chapters 4 and 5, A Journey in the Dark and The Bridge of Khazad-dûm. Following his lead, the company passed under the Northern Arch. They found themselves in a wide corridor. As they went along it, the glimmer grew stronger, and they saw that it came through a doorway on their right. It was high and flat-topped, and the stone door was still upon its hinges, standing half open. Beyond it was a large square chamber. It was dimly lit, but to their eyes, after so long a time in the dark, it seemed dazzlingly bright, and they blinked as they entered. Their feet disturbed the deep dust upon the floor, and stumbled among things lying in the doorway whose shapes they could not at first make out. The chamber was lit by a wide shaft high in the further eastern wall. It slanted upwards, and, far above, a small square patch of blue sky could be seen. The light of the shaft fell directly on a table in the middle of the room, a single oblong block, about 2 feet high, upon which was laid a great slab of white stone. "It looks like a tomb," muttered Frodo, and bent forwards with a curious sense of foreboding to look more closely at it. Gandalf came quickly to his side. On the slab runes were deeply graven. "These are Daeron's runes, such as were used of old in the Moria," said Gandalf. "Here is written in the tongues of men and dwarves, Balin, son of Fundin, Lord of Moria." "He is dead, then," said Frodo. "I feared it was so." Gimli cast his hood over his face. 2001, The Fellowship of the Ring, Peter Jackson.
Cave troll.
Let them come. There is one dwarf yet in Moria who still draws breath.
2002, The Two Towers, Electronic Arts. After discovering the tomb, we are thrown into the heat of battle as goblins invade the room. After hacking our way through this beautiful yet cramped geography, we are startled by the entrance of a cave troll. We were expecting this, as it happens in the film, but here we have to defeat it in a slightly different way.
Every level has its own signature emotion that we're trying to deliver upon. In Balin's tomb, we manipulated the elements of lighting and scale and the number of enemies in the space to really make it feel like it was a massive battle within a small contained area.
The most striking feature of this level is the opportunity to view a film set from 360 degrees. There are some slight differences here from the tomb described by Tolkien. The door here is made of wood, not stone, and there is only one of them, making for a more claustrophobic and dramatic set piece. The tight camera angles in the game further illustrate its tomb-like qualities. There are no in-between set pieces as found in the previous level. Here we literally play out an extended and simplified version of the film sequence, in which continuation of the narrative is bound up with not getting squashed. After losing Gandalf the Grey in the mines of Moria, we fast forward to the breaking of the Fellowship, at another watchtower built by the same fellows who built Amon Sul. Here Frodo decides to go on alone, and we the Fellowship have to defend his departure and find Boromir. 1954, J.R.R. Tolkien. The Fellowship of the Ring, Book 2, Chapter 10, The Breaking of the Fellowship, and The Two Towers, Book 3, Chapter 1, The Departure of Boromir. Wandering aimlessly at first in the wood, Frodo found that his feet were leading him up towards the slopes of the hill. He came to a path, the dwindling ruins of a road of long ago. In steep places stairs of stone had been hewn, but now they were cracked and worn, and split by the roots of trees. For some while he climbed, not caring which way he went, until he came to a grassy place. Rowan trees grew about it, and in the midst was a wide flat stone. The little upland lawn was open upon the east, and was filled now with the early sunlight. Frodo halted, and looked out over the river far below him, to Tol Brandir and the birds wheeling in the great gulf of air between him and the untrodden isle. The voice of Raros was a mighty roaring, mingled with a deep, throbbing boom. Soon he came out alone on the summit of Amon Hen, and halted, gasping for breath. He saw as through a mist a wide flat circle, paved with mighty flags, and surrounded with a crumbling battlement. And in the middle, set upon 4 carven pillars, was a high seat, reached by a stair of many steps. Up he went, and sat upon the ancient chair, feeling like a lost child that had clambered upon the throne of mountain kings. 2001, The Fellowship of the Ring, Peter Jackson. 2002, The Two Towers, Electronic Arts. Starting with Frodo's goodbye, Aragorn regroups with Legolas and Gimli, and together we hack our way through the Uruk-hai from Amon Hen down to Parthgalen. After Frodo escapes, the Horn of Gondor is heard. Boromir is in trouble. We find him mortally wounded in a clearing, with a ring of statues. A victim to the leader of the Uruk-hai, Lurtz, a character created for the films, and we then begin a boss battle.
We split Amon Hen into sort of 3 elements, essentially. There was the Nen Hithwil Lakeshore.
This is an absolutely gorgeous piece of landscape, and if someone doesn't find something to help get this into the show, you're all mad.
Paradise, we shot the Parthgalen section of it, which was the approaches to the Amon Hen seeing seat, and where there was a lot of battle between the Fellowship and the Uruk-hai.
Yeah, against that tree. Yeah, we do have to find a good place for Boromir's little death scene with Aragorn. So yeah.
While in Balin's tomb, the novelty was found in exploring a film set. Here it is in exploring a part of New Zealand I wasn't able to visit. Closeburn, Paradise and Mavora, 3 lakes blended seamlessly together through the magic of cinema, and later in the game. It is a landscape that is both fictitious, in